So it's a little bigger than I thought it would be. It's 20 pounds, but it took up almost all my trunk space, and I still need to fit, you know, this stuff in my tent. It barely fits.
Oh, you got the picture?
I'm taking a video.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Send it, please.
Yum.
Oh, you know what's nice is the light is shining on you, so it's a nice photo op.
Hi everyone. So usually I'm writing on the floor, but it's colder these days now, so yeah, so that's why I'm in bed. Anyway, I got a question from a reader. Their name's Bambi Mocha in the roommate's comments. They said, I'm really curious about your writing process. I've been trying to write for what seems like an eternity. I guess I'm just curious about how you write these stories. I'll just try and persevere with my own work. I gave them a very broad and probably unhelpful answer and mentioned I can talk more about it in a vlog if they were interested. And they were very receptive to that. So the rest of this vlog is going to be me talking about my writing process, and you don't have to watch the rest if you're not interested. So thanks for watching up until now, and then I'm gonna go into my writing process right now. Already this is awkward. I can already tell. But hopefully this will be helpful for them because I gave a very, yeah, weird answer, I think. Okay, so just to caveat, I'm not saying this is the best writing process or that you have to do this. This is just what works for me. And I'm honored that you're interested in my process. In the comment I gave to them, like my writing process is broken up in like 3 parts. And then like in addition to that, I have like a sort of like order of operations kind of thing, I guess you would call it. You know, what I start with basically before like when I write a chapter. So I'm going to talk about the 3 parts that make up my process, and then I'll talk about the order of operations. Okay, so here we go. 50% of my process is how I was taught to write in school. I majored in cinema with an emphasis on film production. I was supposed to complete an emphasis in screenwriting, but I didn't. I only took 2 screenwriting classes. Um, so that's why I feel like my writing style is very sparse, like not very descriptive to me, at least, because like I was taught the screenwriting way is very like, I mean, it's not flowery, I guess you would say, like it's not very just super I don't know how to explain it, but like if you read a screenplay and then you see, you know, actual like a fiction book, you know, it's not the same, right? Like not just because of the formatting, but like anyway, I don't this is so bad. This is so bad already. Okay, let's just move on. Anyway, my screenwriting 1 class consisted of adapting a short story into an existing short story into a short film, like an hour-long short film, so like, you know, 57 to 60 pages max. Before we could even begin writing our screenplay, our assignments consisted of outlining, making a summary, and creating character bios. So before I even think about posting like 1 chapter on AO3, I do outlining and character bios. So I make a very broad outline of the story, and sometimes it's not like all figured out. Sometimes I just have like the first 3 bullet points and then the ending, and I don't know what goes in the middle. So at least like I try to start something before I really go into writing a chapter. So roommates was like very simple from the beginning. You know, originally it was gonna be like this one shot. Yoongi moves in, Yoongi and OC get off on the wrong foot. Well, you know, for the first week of living together, and then lockdown would happen, and then they fall in love. That was like the original, a 2 chapter one shot, but then it became this longer thing, which I'm happy about. But at the same time, I was like, uh, at the same time, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I didn't want to write a 90K thing anyway. Anyway, okay, the new outline became Yoongi moves in, Yoongi and OC get off on the wrong foot, OC warms up to Yoongi, and, you know, barbecue party, and then so forth and so on. So it's like the outline can be as simple and as extensive as you need, but I really suggest making an outline so that you have an idea for the future, you know, what your future chapters are going to be. And I mentioned in my first vlog that I was like writing 3 chapters at a time, like it was like 14 through 16, I think, at the time. And honestly, that would not be possible for me if I didn't outline in the beginning, because I do like to jump around between chapters, plan ahead, and sort of like plant seeds and stuff, especially since like I rely a lot on flashbacks. So when I was like writing the scene where OC is getting texts from Yoongi while he was camping in chapter 12, I was also writing that Yoongi POV camping scene, and in preparation of tacking that on as a flashback after the garage scene in chapter 16. So yeah, like I probably would not have been able to do that if I wasn't like outlining. When you're outlining, you can also like just move things around when you're you're like, oh, this would be a good flashback for adding later. So I'll talk about the flashbacks in my order of operations section, I guess. Okay, so yeah, so outlining is a big thing. And then next, I was taught to do character bios. So like a character bio for the OC and the main character is like really helpful for me, just to flesh them out and make them feel more real. For Yoongi, in Roommates, the character bio was like it was really simple. It was like it's like listing out my inspiration basically. So I put In the Soup Yoongi, Bon Voyage season 4 in New Zealand Yoongi. I put good cook, likes nature, camping, works from home, in IT. Small friend group was important to me. So he's Jungkook, Tae, and kind of Jimin through Tae. Has a temper but is working on it. Sees therapist, and so stuff like that. And like also things will start coming to like you'll start filling it out a little bit more, or even just keeping it mentally in your head while you're writing. This character starts to become more real, and then from there you figure out like their motivations and stuff, and like their choices sort of are rooted from that character bio, from that list of things that you've created makes them who they are. So yeah, so that's like my 50% writing process. So it's outlining and creating character bios. This 25%, I don't think I explained this well in my response to Bambi Mocha, but I just said that 25% is how my brain is wired. And what I mean by that is that I daydream and I zone out all the time when it's safe, when I'm doing chores or like folding laundry and stuff. Like, and in those moments, I'm thinking about the characters, like their old friends, and I'm thinking about dialogue and stuff like that. Like, I don't count this as writing time. This is just like non-dedicated writing time. It's more like just brainstorming time, I guess you could call it. I'm just like dedicating my thoughts towards the story, and I'm also like living life, I guess you would say. Like I'm getting inspired through life in that time. Also reading a BTS interview or watching their content, and when I see something I like, I sort of file that in my head, like a Twitter bookmark, you just and I'll return to it later. So I'm like mentally taking notes of things and seeing how they can be used later. So like one example would be, so there was like army pajama party Zoom meeting with BTS where they answered questions and stuff. One of the like, I think TMIs or whatever was like Yoongi's dad's nickname for Jungkook is Sundungi, and sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, but I just really liked that moment, and then I decided to use that in chapter 16. Like, and like I know it's not like a huge moment, right? It's more of a like just like a small sweet character moment for me that like it, to me, it adds like a richness to the story that wasn't there before, and it feels all the more special because it's rooted from this an actual thing. I like adding Easter eggs and reference like that. That stuff would not be possible if I weren't like watching BTS content and making mental notes. This like non-dedicated writing time where I'm just like living my life but also kind of having the story in my head is just part of my writing process. The same thing with the "Don't Cry Alone." That was a quote from Suga in another interview that I really liked, and I wanted to add that into the story. So ideas come to me like that when I'm like living life with the story in the back of my mind. I'm collecting things that I love and want to commemorate them in a way that serves the story. And I'm not saying that you have to do this. You might already be doing this and you just don't know you're doing this. Like, you see something you like and you like save it for later. But what I am saying is that like anything you can experience can be part of your story. And be open to the possibility that you don't have to think of everything. You don't have to make up everything. Some real life stuff is just too good. That photo of Jungkook in the new season's greetings? Like, how do you see that and not think of like, oh my god, I can make a story out of it. So anyway, moving on. The last 25%. So we did 50, 25. So the 25%'s next. That's all that's left is actual time commitment to writing. To me, sitting down, my phone is away from me, and I'm focused on writing. And sometimes I'm writing and 2 hours have passed, and like it feels really good and stuff, but sometimes I'm just rereading what I've written and trying to make it better, or I'm just staring at the screen for 30 minutes and then giving up. But either way, like making time towards a story, whether I'm writing or not, is important. And I used to get so down if I didn't get any writing done, when I set aside time for it. But now, like I allow myself to be okay with it, and I've made peace with the fact that not every minute will be fruitful or show progress. That last 25% is making time for writing, but also being kind to yourself if not much writing gets done. And then, persevering. So, okay, so that's like the makeup of my process. And then I'm gonna go through like my order of operations, I guess you could call it. So there's the outline, there's a character bios, and then after that, I do dialogue. Dialogue comes to me more easily after reviewing my outline than any other stuff. So and then after dialogue, I go through the like adding description, the settings, like people's actions and movements and stuff like that. After that, that's kind of like sort of the base, right? And then I go into the transitions between scenes, I guess you could call it. Like, where does the scene start? How does it end? And does it feel natural, I guess you could say? And like, does it feel good where something ends? Or can I end it sooner? And then maybe save the back part of that scene for a flashback later or something like that. So yeah, flashback placement also comes into play here. This is like where I start thinking about it after I've done all the dialogue and description. So I did want to touch upon this because like some people mentioned they liked that they knew about the engagement ring at the end, like the flashback of the return of the engagement ring in chapter 16 of Roommates. I put that there because I thought it would be too sad to end on the garage scene. Okay, and then I thought it would be more impactful, more hopeful, I guess, if you knew that Yoongi's begun the process to move on from his ex. And that like and with that added knowledge that that it's been happening like for a while already. Not even a while, because like supposedly the camping trip was a couple days before his birthday, and then lockdown starts on the 13th. But anyway, this is just like for me, like you might not be thinking this, right? But it's like just for me. Like also, this is another thing. Write for yourself. You can't always please everyone, but like write the story that you want to write it, how you want to write it, write the story you want to read, kind of thing. So yeah, going back, when Yoongi comes home on his birthday and she says he looks happy, he is truly happy. And not just because it's his birthday and she has cake, she made it like, a special thing. They had their little text message thing. It's because he's coming home to her. He got rid of the ring. He's ready to move on. But you don't know that. You don't know that until, chapter 16. But anyway, that's why I kind of like messing around with how you give information to the reader. But yeah, that stuff all should come later, um I would do the dialogue and the setting and the descriptions and actions first, and then think about like, oh, like, would this be more interesting if I moved this scene here, or if I, withheld a certain information to give to you guys later. So after that stuff, I like to do like a final pass of like adding more feeling, I guess you would say, or atmosphere. I don't know how to describe it, but like adding more heart, I guess, like where things are kind of just like lacking, and it doesn't always work. It doesn't always happen, but like I guess an example would be in the garage scene, like right before the end where he calls her name and then she turns around and then she sees that, like, she just sees all his stuff there, and then like she just has this idea of like, oh, this stuff's, they've made their home here, they belong here, and like when I'm gone, I'm like nothing's gonna remain of me kind of thing. That stuff was added like at the end just to add more pain, I guess you could say, because I do like to do that. Like the bow and arrow bit, I added that right before hitting publish because I felt like it needed more. And sometimes, after reading something 10-15 times, you see something where it like can be punched up a little. So whenever I can add pain, I do that. You know this about me already. That's just sort of, like a breakdown of my process and my like to-do list of writing. I really do. I'm so sorry if that was like even messier than you thought it would be. I'm so sorry if that wasn't helpful at all, but I really do hope that you persevere like you said you would. If you have a story, like, only you can do it, right? Because it's your idea. I hope you persevere and you can do it. You can do it. Bambi Mocha, I'm cheering for you. Look at me. like I started with, this one story that was basically a travel itinerary. And look where I am now. You can do it. So I'm gonna end this vlog now. I think I talked way too much. But thank you for watching. If you're still here until the end, I hope you have a great holiday, Christmas, New Year's, and I'll see you in the new year. And again, I'm really sorry about chapter 16 and breaking all your hearts. But it's what I do, right? It's only gonna get better from there. Okay, bye.